ヤギ様から盗み取った北斗神拳、とくと味合わせてやるわ。
Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome to a new video. My name is Midway and today I bring you a list of things that I'd like to see implemented into the Holy Paladin talent tree in some capacity in the Dragonflight Alpha. We got some old stuff that has already been part of the Holy Paladin kit in the past at some point, as well as some new stuff that I would like to see in the form of reworks or reimaginations of things that we already have right now in Shadowlands. Before we get into any of this though, please, I would really love if you could go ahead and subscribe and like this video and even drop a comment. This will all help me a ton and I'd really appreciate it. Now let's start first talking about the old stuff that I would like to see come back in some capacity. Number one in this list for me personally is Sacrifice Aura. This used to be such a powerful raid cooldown we used to have back in Legion, and it was taken away just as I was starting to play this spec. And yeah, what it did used to be when you popped Aura Mastery, 15% of all the healing you did was then redistributed and reproduced on everybody in the raid. So you ended up being able to top the entire raid almost with like couple GCDs only. It was so cool. You kind of had a little bit of a setup before you used it. There was a few spells you could use beforehand to really boost your healing during this 6-second damage window or really healing window, because back then Aura Mastery used to be only 6 seconds and it didn't used to be on the GCD, so things were a lot faster. And yeah, I really love this spell, the way it played, the way it was so strong in raids in particular. And as I said, I didn't really get to play too much with it. I think it was so much fun. Now, balance aside and how strong it was, maybe it was a little bit too strong, considering everything that Holy Paladin also brings to the table. However, I think this could always be fixed in the tuning patches, and it would just add a lot to the way Paladin plays. In particular right now, where Paladin just feels like it doesn't have any way of sniping and healing, and in re-clears, in raids, it's just so weak and kind of so boring. You always get sniped by everybody in the raid. You don't have anything else besides right now spamming Lights of Dawn and hoping you actually heal people and not overheal for 50% of your Lights of Dawn and stuff. So yeah, next up is Tyr's Deliverance. This used to be the ability we got from our artifact weapon in Legion. And on itself, it's nothing too crazy, but what it does is it applies a healing overtime effect on a person, and then they received 20% increased healing while they have this buff on them. So it was quite an interesting thing you could use when you were first setting up stuff for then using Sacrifice Aura. You would apply like Bestow Faith, you would use this thing, and you would also throw a Judgment together with the Ring Legendary that give you some increased healing after you threw Judgments. So it was part of the setup, but as well I think it adds just quite some flavor to the way the Paladin kit. I think any spell or anything that has to do with Tyr fits the Paladin fantasy just perfectly, as well as this could be quite strong when it comes to PvP and also Mythic Plus, so why not bring it back? Could be one of the talents perfectly fine. Something I have in the list as well is bring back Glimmer. Yeah, make Glimmer just as strong as it was before. Now, not really meaning make it as OP as it was back in BFA, but I kind of would like to see it come back to the uncapped format, even if it's nerfed down to a point where it's not that strong. I really thought that Glimmer back then, even though it might have been kind of boring after so long of playing just the same and just spamming Holy Shock and that was it, it kind of provided a different way of playing the spec that we right now are not really able to play in a powerful way. Having Glimmer capped to 8 targets is really boring. It doesn't feel like you're really playing Glimmer. It just feels like you got something going on in the background and you don't even notice it too much. And as well as just so not powerful right nowadays. So you don't really bank all into Glimmer. You just kind of pick it up and play Holy Shock Veil. That's really what it's about, and playing Kyrian with Divine Toll. Now, yeah, I would like to see it come back with uncapped format, maybe tuned down a little bit, but just making it a viable way of playing Holy Paladin. I would like to see that. Something else that you kind of can call it old stuff would be reverting the mana nerfs, in particular the mana nerfs to Crusader Strike. Crusader Strike is such a core spell right now to the way we play Holy Paladin, and if they're going to be keeping around this way of playing it, we need Crusader Strike to be something you can use a lot more frequently without really having to panic about your mana. What happens right now is if you want to play any build that's not just Marat without a Dawn and whatever other Covenant, you are going to be going on really quick. If you're playing something like Crusader's Might or just playing a Holy Shock build, you will drain your mana so quickly. If you also go full ham DPS in raids and you're just re-clearing and doing it for the memes, you will notice that your mana is absolutely decimated. You're gonna be soaking IQDs left and right because you just have no mana in no time. So this is a big problem. I think the way Holy Paladin should handle mana should be a different way, and not just going AFK whenever you just drain everything, because Crusader Strike is literally based a part of your base rotation. If you are not able to press Crusader Strike, you're literally just going AFK. Now, something that in a way I don't really know if I would like to see, but I think could also be kind of cool, and a way of balancing the way Holy Paladin functions in raids, in particular just the way we're able to do HPS and not be sniped by everybody else, would be bringing back the old mastery that we had before Legion. Now when Legion came, we got the mastery that we have right now, the one that increases our healing done based on our proximity to allies, but back in the day we used to have this mastery where we applied absorb shields for 10% of the healing done after we healed any ally with any healing spell. So this is, you can tell this is a bit toxic, because absorb shields have never really been greatly received within the healer community. It kind of kills raid healing depending on, you know, if you're progressing or re-clearing. It can be very toxic. Things like Spirit Shell, we've seen that when you prevent the damage from even happening, sometimes that's not something that anybody likes to see as a healer. However, small amounts of absorb shields like this one don't really mean that much to raid. It's just a way of Holy Paladins being able to secure some healing before it actually happens, without actually taking away the entire thing. But yeah, it's like a guaranteed way of sniping anybody. 10% of the healing done is not that much, but of course it gets buffed with more mastery, and it could end up being a bit of a thing that everybody else hates. But I do think that right now Holy Paladin is one of the specs that gets the hardest time in re-clears. It's just so boring. You can't do anything when you have other more powerful raid healers in the raid that can ramp and take away all your healing basically without you being able to do anything. Now, something else that could also be cool, and some other way of doing AoE healing besides just spamming Ladon, would be bringing back Holy Radiance. Holy Radiance used to be a spell that I've never played around with, because I've never been back then, so I've never played for that long, but you used to be able to use this, like you healed one person and then you healed a couple allies around that person for a bunch, and it's just a little way of doing some more both single target heal to that one target and then spread out some AoE heals. Now, this would not probably not be as strong as we would expect it, because it would otherwise replace Ladon, but just a different way of also doing a little bit of AoE healing, just like, for example, Holy Priests have something like Circle of Healing besides their Prayer of Healing. You know, some more options when it comes to doing some AoE healing wouldn't be that terrible, and I don't think this would be too big of a problem. Just having more options to the Holy Paladin kit would probably be a good thing, balance of all the power of the spec apart. So that's all the old stuff that I would like to discuss. Now let's get into the new stuff. So what I would really like to see done to what do we have right now, and I really would like to see it reimagined, is Infusion of Light. Now Infusion of Light has gone through plenty of changes. It used to be that it gave increased healing when you used to use the Infusion of Light on a Flash of Light, and then it made your Holy Lights quicker. That was, I think, the sweet spot of it back in when we first started, like Season 1 BFA. That was alright. It was kind of an interesting choice. You could give up more mana for more healing with Flash of Light, or just go for a more mana-sensitive option and just use Holy Light. That would also do a little bit more healing with a shorter cast time. What happened really is that most people defaulted to using Holy Lights unless you really needed that extra healing from Flash of Light. And, well, it was kind of a no-brainer at some point, but still, I think that was a sweet spot. Now, when they changed it so that Holy Light did not do, you know, the quicker healing, but instead it just gave one Holy Power, and Flash of Light changed its increased amount of healing to just reduce the cost, it kind of died over, like, completely. Like, even back then, once we got Glimmer, we never really cared about Infusion of Light for so long, but these kind of changes have not helped. The Holy Power can be nice, and if the ranged build for Holy Paladin ever was a thing, that would be something we would valuably benefit from, but as of right now, barely anybody is playing these kind of things, and it's just a pretty not exactly powerful playstyle. I'm not saying it's a bad playstyle, and it could very much be a good thing if we could also play these kind of things and have a similar level of power to what like a normal melee build has right now. However, I just like for them to make up their minds really. see what they really want about Paladin, where the ranged versus melee build stands, and Infusion of Light seems to be just a core aspect of it. Maybe remove it altogether, maybe just make something different when it comes to this sort of passives, or yeah, I don't know, I'm not the game designer here, but I really would like to see them do something about this, because it's been such a core part of the spec for so long, and ever since the melee version of Paladin has been born, this whole Infusion idea has just been dead in the ground. Now, something else that I kind of mentioned before is Light of Dawn just not being the entirety of the healing that we can do in raids. Like, Light of Dawn right now is just all the power we have when it comes to raids, because that's really all we do. We generate holy power, we spam it on Lights of Dawn, and we just pray that it doesn't overheal for a lot. And that's kind of boring. I mean, it's honestly kind of boring, because Word of Glory, it does not do anywhere similar the amount of healing when you just don't use it for the sake of proccing a Vanquisher's Hammer charge. And it just defaults to Light of Dawn because of that reason. There's no reason to ever consider Word of Glory outside of really trying to save somebody's life when they are really low or something, some on-demand spot healing. But even then, we are now playing with Marats, of course, so, well, it's kind of a better idea to just use a Light of Dawn and then use the Marats proc for the spot healing. It just flows better and it's more HPS altogether because of the beacon transfer and stuff. But of course, going into Dragonflight, Marats might not even be a thing. I would honestly don't like. I do think that it's gonna stay around in some capacity, but I personally would not like that to be the case. However, when it comes to Light of Dawn and Word of Glory, those are here to stay, I believe. I don't think they're gonna be reworking the entire holy power system. And if this thing could be rebalanced a little bit in a way that we do not just default to using Light of Dawn in raids, I think that the way we play right now would improve quite a little bit. So I think that's all I really want to talk about. There's plenty of stuff that's been mentioned. There's been a wish list done in Wowhead as well, so if you guys want to be checking that out, go ahead and do so. There's a lot of interesting stuff and a lot of things that could be very cool if they did implement into the Paladin kit. But for now, that's all I really have. Please, again, drop a like and subscribe in the video. I would really appreciate that. It really helps me a lot. And anyways, I'll see you on the next video or on stream as well on twitch.tv/midwayu. In any case, I'll see you next time, and hopefully the talent trees get rebuilt soon so we can actually have a video discussing those. And yeah, I'll see you next time again. Bye bye!